stop and start to step into wanting to understand this wound cycle, understand how we've been wounded, understand where we've been wounded. And I mentioned last week, there's kind of two places we move to. We have this self-preservation mode we move into. And we either first look to deflect, so we look for external reasons. We deny that we're damaged. I wasn't wounded. My childhood was pretty good, or I never went through anything, or my dad was a good guy, or whatever. We deny that we haven't damaged, or we excuse the damage. Germans are never affectionate. That's how my dad's family was. Or they did the best they could. We excuse it. Excusing is not the same as forgiving, and we'll talk about that in weeks to come. Because there is forgiveness, real forgiveness, but excusing is not forgiveness. Excusing is excusing. So we either deflect or we diminish. We go to diminishment. We downplay the pain. We downplay the messages. So we minimize the damage, saying, well, it wasn't that bad. You should have seen our neighbors' kids. They had a whole lot worse. That was an ugly divorce. My parents were pretty good, Now we embrace the damage. Well, yeah, I deserved it though. I was a pretty terrible kid, So that's where we go. We either deflect it, saying we deny it, or we excuse it, or we diminish it, saying it wasn't that bad, or I deserved it. That's where we tend to go. A great danger arises when we don't experience authentic restoration. We will settle for being informed or conformed. And that's where a lot of us get stuck, especially in church, right? We come to church, we want something more. We're at church because we hope there's something more, but we've never really learned. I never really learned. I was 42 years old 36 years old before I heard for the first time that I had these core questions that God was wanting to answer. I was 36 years old. I'd never heard it before. I'd never heard that I was wounded. I had never heard that when Jesus said he came to heal the brokenhearted, that he was talking about me. That was somebody else. So I was just settling for just being informed about the Christian life and about God and God's love and all that kind of stuff. But see, a wound that's denied or minimized or embraced, it can't be healed. It can't be healed. And that's the real goal. God doesn't want us to live in these wounded places with these false answers to these core questions. He wants to heal us so that we can actually hear the truth. See, even David in Psalm 109 says, "But you, O sovereign Lord, deal well with me for your name's sake. Out of the goodness of your love, deliver me, for I am poor and needy. My heart is wounded within me." This is King David. A man after God's own heart. His heart was wounded. Ours is too. But see, the journey to healing, to restoration, to connecting with the true Father who can give us the answers to our heart's core questions, which then sets us free, by the way, to really be in an incredible relationship with him, and an honest relationship with him. That can't start in a vacuum. It can't start in a vacuum. It can't start apart from your own experiences. See, our brains are far too complex, too conditioned with our experiences with the first voice, the voice of our dad. Jesus has to start there. He has to start with our reality and transform it into reality. And see, we don't have a different, when we think of what a father is, we don't have a version of it. We go, "Oh, that's my dad." And then a different version for, "Oh, that's God." We've had one experience of Father. We have one definition in our brains. And to the extent that it's been marred and twisted and misaligned by our experience with our earthly dad, God's got to start with that and change it to where our definition of a good and true Father is the right one. Then we can rightly look back and understand our fathers. But he has to take us from what we know, what our brains know, what we've been conditioned, and then bring us to what the truth is. So if you were distant from your dad, and I know this because I've talked to hundreds of people, what's the one thing that I guarantee you will struggle with in your relationship with God? I feel distance from God. If you felt like you could never please your dad, and just nothing you could do was ever good enough, guess what you're gonna, without getting any restoration, what are you gonna think or feel about God's opinion of you? I can never measure up. I can never work hard enough. He's always upset. Now, you might have done work, you might have read Bible verses, you might have some change, and that's good. I'm not saying that all of us are stuck at 5 years old, but I'm just saying to the extent that God's able to change those things and heal those things, starting with your experience and helping you understand what really was happening there. This is going to kind of be your knee-jerk reaction. Not when days are good, I can go, oh, I know God values me and sees me, but guess what? When days go bad, when I have a rough day, or when stressful things happen, or when painful things happen, or when I find out a friend's sick, or when my kids are are having trouble. The things my gut, my first reaction is, I got to solve this on my own, because that's what I learned, and it's taken many, 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 many years to 51% to 49% most times not have that be my gut reaction when things go wrong. But we all have whatever version of that is for us. So God's got to start with our reality and shape it into actual reality. But here's the good news. That's exactly what Jesus came to do. It's exactly what he came to do, is to take our broken relationship with him that's been twisted and misunderstood by our experience as a kid. And he says, I want to heal that. I want to change that. But he's got to take us back. He's got to take us back. So let's revisit Russell. So Russell, you met on the plane. He's got his own world. Jen, you'll have to punch through a few things. Skip ahead there. But it's his 40th birthday. So if you've never seen this movie, right? It's his 40th birthday, and pops up himself, little Russell, at 8 years old. Okay? He doesn't know why he's there, but little Russell comes in with the eyes of a little boy and says, hey, where's our dog? Because they figure out that, well, it's him. It's just, young him. Come back. They're trying to figure out why he's there. Well, where's our dog? We have a dog, right? He says, no, kid, we don't have a dog. We don't have a dog? I was going to get a dog. Well, we fly jets, right? Because I was going to fly jets, right? No, we don't fly jets, kid. Sorry. I'm an image consultant, right? He says, all right. Well, where's the wife? I was going to marry a beautiful, incredible woman. Where's the wife? I'm sorry, kid. I'm not married. And he says, and truck. Okay, well, let's at least go take a ride in the truck. I don't have a truck, kid. And the kid says, no dog, no truck, no wife, no jet. I grew up to be a loser. And he's right? He's got this young heart, and so then they start to figure out, what went wrong between 8 years old and me at 40. What went wrong? Something went wrong, and they think it's this kid at school who used to bully young Russell, because young Russell was a little heftier. He used to bully him, and he got beat up on the playground. And so old Russell teaches young Russell how to defend himself and punch, and then they remember, the day that this fight happened where young Russell had gotten beat up, it happens on his birthday. And so they realize, oh, this is why young Russell's come back. So old Russell can teach young Russell how to fight and defend himself. And when they get in this fight on the playground, he's going to defend himself, and that's going to change his life. And he's not going to be this 40-year-old loser anymore, right? And so we're going to pick up the scene right after the fight. And you'll find out that it might have been something deeper than that. That there's some deep questions that Russell got some answers to. Just like we do.
Ice on the ice, son.
Mr. Branch, I put all the reports on your desk.
Mom, I'm sorry, Mom, I'm sorry. Oh, it's okay. It's okay.
I'm sorry you had to come in, Mrs. Dorrit. You don't know you haven't been well.
Please, don't punish him, Mr. Branch. It's his birthday today.
Mom, Daddy.
Gloria, what are you doing? Are you out of your mind?
I'm fine. I'm fine.
You stay there.
Please don't scare him. He's had a hard day.
Gloria, the doctor said you weren't to leave the house. What is the matter with you?
I'm sorry.
How can you do this to your mother? What are you trying to do? Kill her faster?
What?
We're gonna lose her. God, you pull some stunt like you did today. You're killing her.
I found the screw, Dad. Look, the screw.
Stop crying.
Here's the screw, Dad. Look, here it is. Here it is. I found it.
Stop
Please,
crying.
Daddy, look at the screw. Here it is.
Stop crying. Stop. You gotta grow up now. Do you understand? Grow up. Grow up.
Mom's dying.
I know.
Soon?
Yeah.
For your next birthday.
Did I do it?
No. No, you didn't do it. It's not your fault. Dad was just saying those things because he's scared. Because he knows that he has to raise you alone. He doesn't know how to do it.
I thought you never cried.
Since my 8th birthday. Guess I'm starting up again.
Come.
Because I just figured out where I got that twitch from.
Somebody called the ambulance.
Yeah. Gonna need him now, huh? Come on. You wanna get out of here? Let's go.
So there was something beneath the guy, right? Something beneath. And that's such a good scene because it really does show that, you know, this little boy needed a father. He needed a father to say, no, it wasn't you. It wasn't you. All his life, he had carried this weight and didn't even remember. Didn't even remember. In the scene, the kid's like, I have the screw. It's because he liked to help his dad, or wanted to help his dad fix the car, and he lost the screw. And so he thought his dad was mad about that, yet his dad just brings this really aggressive wound to him and told him to stop crying, grow up. And little Russell did. He did. And that's a movie. But each of us have a version of that in our own story. And we have to let Jesus take us back. Just like, and sometimes I look at Hollywood movies and go, they don't know what they're doing, what they're writing, because they're revealing the gospel. They don't know it. But someone had to go back to little Russell and father him. Jesus wants to do that for us. To take us back and father us in those moments. Brennan Manning says, if we conceal our wounds out of fear and shame, our inner darkness can neither be illuminated or become a light for others. If Jesus hadn't done that for me, I would never be standing here talking to you guys. I would have never written a book that talks about it. I would never be free of the chains of sexual abuse. I never would be. It was allowing God to go into those moments, illuminate them, that not only set me free, but does what God does so well. He takes our story and lets us. I heard someone say, Jesus not only sets us free from our prison, he invites us to go rescue others in the prison. He doesn't have to do that, but he does. Mark Golish said, it's a common habit in our culture, especially because it works, at least in the short run, to seek out things to distract me from my pain. But it's a wiser, a harder course to put myself into the hands of a God for his restoration, as it requires me to experience and endure my pain. We have to let God take us back there. Or as a really good friend of mine, Terry Pernsteiner, said, when you're walking around with one arm and one leg, it's really hard to play volleyball. Hey, we're wounded, and then we think we're going to be able to, we want our life to be free and alive, but we're walking around, thinking that somehow we're going to be able to do it. We have to let God go back and restore those things. Restore those things. Psalm 10:14 says, but you, O God, do see our trouble and grief. You are the helper of the fatherless. And really, that's all of us in one way or another. We might have had dads, we might not have had dads. But whatever our dads were like and whatever our experience as a child, he wants to be the true father that takes that first voice and reinterprets it into what is really true. Because when he tells us who we are and we believe it, you know what we're saying? We believe who he really is. You get it? If we listen to him and say, you have the right to tell me who I am, what my worth is, and what my destiny is, and I'm going to believe it, we're now giving him permission. We're giving him the right. We're saying, you are a true father. We're putting him in his rightful place and telling him who he is and his true worth. That's how it's supposed to be working. So here's your assignment for this week. What I'd like you to do is take each day and take one of those questions. Just one a day. I want you to ask God these questions and say, God, reveal to me what I really believe. So God, was I unconditionally Dad's beloved son or delighted in daughter? God, did I? Then let him reveal to you, because he knows you better than you know yourself. He knows where he needs to take you, what memories you need to think about, what emotions you need to feel. Trust him to take you there. Trust him. You just have to give him access. So each morning, just ask a question. Ask him to show you. Just like David said in the Psalms, God, you search me and you know me. You reveal to me any way in me. Right? Psalm 139, you show me, God. I'm not going to go hunting for it. God, I'm just saying, you know me. Search me. Know me. You show to me, reveal to me any ways in me that don't align with your truth, who you are, who I am, my value, your value, my destiny. And then lead me in the path of life. So take one of these questions. I put more than 7 days worth in there because some questions you'll go, it doesn't really work for me. God, which question should I start with today? Ask him that. Whichever one pops out, go with it. Just go with it. And write down your unfiltered, unfiltered response. Be honest with yourself. And then dare to ask Jesus to show you and heal you and restore you.